Khalil, we've heard from coaches about the work you put in this off season. What was your kind of quarantine workout regimen like, and what were you doing over the last couple months before you got up to House Hall?
Just grinding. Keeping my head down and grinding, man. I had my little brother up here with me, so it was fun. Just in here getting it in, going to the field, and not to get into details, but we put the work in.
Jason Leisure.
Khalil, how did you feel about your performance last season?
I wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough at all. And so, understanding that, the different intangibles that came with it, I don't make any excuses. I just rise to the occasion. And I'm getting ready for this one. It's going to be a fun one, man. I can't wait.
Kevin Fishbane.
Hey, Khalil, your coaches have talked about how you kind of seem like a man on a mission a little bit this offseason. Is that accurate? Is it different this offseason for you than any other offseason?
I mean, it's the same. It's the same every offseason. Only thing that's different is my mindset. More of a I don't know. I don't really know what to call it. But I don't talk about it much. I'd rather let my play do the talking for me.
Brad Biggs.
Khalil, were you at all playing with an injury last season, especially in the midpoint of the year when at least the statistical production in terms of pass rushing wasn't the same?
It was a lot of factors, man. Playing this game, you deal with all type of stuff. And I'm not one to make excuse, but I'm gonna make sure I'm out there with my brothers, giving it my all every week. And that's what y'all saw. And so, not to get into details, but man, we ready this year. We ready for it all.
Dan Wiederer.
Khalil, where are you at right now? What are you on right now? A bike or a stair climber?
I'm on my Peloton right now. I rushed home. I forgot Aaron told me to come back. But I'm glad Zoom works. And I'm able to do both at the same time.
When you talk about having a new mindset, why for you did that trigger in this year for you?
I want to say a new mindset. I would say a new approach. Knowing how I'm gonna approach the game this year. It's gonna be fun, man. Same way I love to play. I love this game. And I just can't wait, man. Can't wait.
Larry Mayer.
Bill, you said before that you didn't perform as well as you wanted to last year. How much motivation do you derive from that? How much does that drive you forward towards this season?
I mean, it's needless to say, man. The expectation that I have for myself, I definitely didn't reach last year. And so, knowing that, I know I'm going to surpass whatever the expectations were last year for myself. And it's a challenge to myself. And only I can challenge myself, and only I can tell myself, you know what I'm saying, what it was that I expected from myself. So, at the end of the day, it's just that type of mindset. Challenging myself every week to get better. And that's all you can really live by.
Pat Finley.
Khalil, what impact is Robert Quinn going to have on the way teams try to block you?
Man, Rob is a hell of a player, man, and an even better person. And I know it's just gonna be fun to be out there with a guy that's going 110 miles per hour on the other side, and I can't wait. I don't know what it's gonna bring, but I know it's gonna be fun, and I can't wait.
Andy Selgman.
Yeah, Khalil, do you feel like you have something to prove because of the way things went last season?
That's the whole point. I don't have anything to prove. I know myself, know what I'm capable of, and this is gonna be fun, man. I can't wait to get out there with my teammates and make plays and get oohs and ahs to the TV crowd. And that is what it is. All that brings, it brings me joy, man. And I love this game. It's fun. I don't stress over this game, but I love it. And I just can't wait to get out there with my guys.
Mark Grody.
Khalil, you said that several times now and end with a smile on your face about how excited you are to get out there. Is this the most anxious you've been to begin a season?
I would say yes, because it's the next one. Going into year 7, which is a blessing in itself. I can't wait. Really can't wait to go out again and show everybody what I can do.
JJ Stankovitz.
Hey, Khalil, what's the scouting report on your brother, and what do you think he has to do to make this team?
Scouting report. Oh, man. He's jumping out on film. Very explosive. Very explosive. You can tell that he's talented. Things that's going to affect that decision. So it'll come down to special teams. How he'll be used out there, or whatever that may be. But all in all, what I've seen, man, I'm proud of him. And he likes to make plays, and I can only think that it got something to do with the bloodline. I'm not gonna take any credit.
Just a couple more for Khalil, guys. Dan Wiederer.
Khalil, Tayshaun Gibson said yesterday that he knew this was a good defense when he signed here, and now being on the field with it, he feels extra confident in what's here. How do you express the cohesion and the confidence that you're seeing right now from this group?
It's a brotherhood. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that it starts off the field, man. When you're hitting these guys up on Instagram and texting them, calling them, checking on them, just to see how they doing. Not many people are doing that in our lives, you know what I'm saying, as athletes. And really being genuine and really checking up on these guys. And so you got brothers, and then you bring us all on the field. It's just a cohesiveness, and you can't help but feel it. And you're gonna hold yourself accountable because you know your brother got your back, and you want to have his. So that's really what it is. And like I said, like I keep saying, I cannot wait to play with these guys.
Kevin Fishbane.
Hey, Khalil, what's it been like on the defensive side, at least watching that there's a quarterback competition, and what have your impressions been of Nick Foles as a guy and as a quarterback?
I mean, as a guy first, like I told you off the field, that first interaction was, damn, man, I'm glad I don't have to play against you no more. And you know what I'm saying? And just going back through memory lane about all the games that we had played against each other and knowing what they did. And not only that, just seeing the type of guy he is, which is a hell of a guy. And he just got the right type of guys, man. And that's what Nick is. He can blend well and talk and communicate. And yeah, I mean, I can't really get into the whole QB competition thing, but all in all, man, just knowing the two guys that are up for the job, whatever they decide to go with, we're gonna be ready. We're ready to win a lot of ball games, and I can't wait. Whether it's 9 or 10, we're gonna win.
Jason Leisure.
Khalil, as you get deep into your career now, how much did it wear on you last year to go in with such high expectations for the team and for you guys to end up 8-8 and not in the playoffs?
That's football, man. That's life. Not only is it life, it's football, man. You can't really set too many expectations. All you do is go out and give it your all, man. And whether it was a win or a loss, I know these guys went out and gave their all. But not only that, we learn from the losses. And so from here on out, we only gonna focus on winning. And if that comes, we're gonna learn and keep on winning. And that's just the mindset. That's my mindset. And yeah, that is what it is.
All right, last one for Khalil. Pat Finley.
Khalil, if this defense does what you think it can do, where's it going to be? We talked about that last year, and then everybody seemed to get hurt. If you guys get some help this season, what do you see the ceiling being?
Man, I don't really see a ceiling. I don't really see a ceiling for this group, man. Whatever we want, that's what we're going to get. And that's what we're working towards right now. Getting caught up, being behind all these months. And it doesn't seem like there's been any drop-off. You pick right back up. And from here on out, it's just going to be about going out and having fun, not really setting expectations. And that's the group we were in 2018. Not really knowing, and not really setting any expectations, going out and balling and having fun. And that's what it's going to be.
Awesome, Khalil. Thanks for the time talking to these guys.
I appreciate it, Phil.
Matt, what were your impressions of the scrimmage today? What stood out? Who stood out? What did you think about it?
Oh, I knew you were going to hit me with that first one. Overall, the way I look at it is, as a group collectively, I'm like a ref out there. I'm trying to make sure that we're doing things the pace that we want with thud, and then when we want some live, making sure that's done the right way. I thought overall, I thought the pocket was good for the quarterbacks. A couple times where the defense got through, but I thought the O-line did a good job there. The run game looked good too. And then defensively, I thought you felt the speed on defense really with all three of our groups. And I should say 2.5 groups of them just flying around. They didn't look they were playing slow. They were playing fast. And ultimately, that's what you want as a coach, is to be able to evaluate these guys playing fast and using their instincts. So you always want to be able to come out of these things with as minimal amount of injuries as possible. But I just like the mentality that we had. That's a great start right there.
Cheryl Ray, go ahead.
Coach, you said earlier in the week you want to get this team get the calcium going, get toughened up. How close are they? And when do you think they'll be at that point where they'll be ready for the season?
Yeah, Cheryl. Today was probably a start. I'm learning through this deal with the newness of the schedule, the newness of the rules of what we can and can't do. And then again, I'm going to continue to go back to, every team right now is dealing with 80 players instead of 90. And so you have 10 less players. So rep-wise, there's a little less as you go. So you got to have a real good pulse with the team. Being calloused is certainly something that we talked about we have to have. We have to be mentally tough, and we got to be physically tough. You got to be smart when you're doing the physical stuff. Today was a start. Next week will be another challenge for us, where we might sprinkle a little live in there again, and certainly have some longer type practices. But we're going to keep a pulse on these guys. I'm going to listen to where they're at. And as long as we get quality reps, that's really all that matters. It's what's most important to this team.
JJ Stankovitz.
Matt, I'm sorry if I missed this at the start. Can you give us an update on Allen Robinson and Akeem Hicks?
Yeah, so Allen has an ankle yesterday in practice, so we're just keeping an eye on that, and he should be okay. But it just was it didn't make sense to try to push him out there today, so we're okay with that. And then the same thing with Hicks. He has the quad, and he's day to day, and it's just for us, we thought that was the best thing to do, which it was.
Quick follow-up on that. Jimmy Graham, was this a vet rest day for him?
It was, yeah. Yep.
Larry Mayer.
Khalil Mack, his sack total dipped a little bit last year. I know Chuck has talked about it, about how he does other things that don't necessarily always reflect in the stats. What you've seen from Khalil, what are your expectations from him? And does it sense to you that he wants to rebound from last year or just continue doing what he's been doing?
Well, Larry, so for Khalil, everyone always goes to the numbers with really all players. And when you have a lot of sacks in your career like he does, that's what people evaluate off of. But I can tell you firsthand from going against Khalil and other great pass rushers, we look for the sacks, but we also look to see how much are you affecting the quarterback. And then every team that we play is going to have to game plan for him. So you guys know that. You've seen that now for 2 years. And the only thing that matters is Khalil ready to rock and roll? And he certainly is. Just from the talks and discussions, he's had an unbelievable off season. He's very, very focused. He doesn't say much. He's not a guy that says a whole lot, which you like, you appreciate. It's who he is. So he does his speaking on Sundays on game day, and that's all we care about. And I know that he's really looking forward to this season.
Pat Finley.
Hey, Matt, can you hear me?
I got you, Pat. Yep.
Hey, I'm sorry I jumped on a couple of minutes late. Was Anthony Miller banged up a little bit?
Yeah, so Anthony is just right now for us, just the same thing. We're just keeping an eye in regards to all the team stuff and making sure that we're smart with that. He's in a good spot. There's nothing going on with him. We're just, again, we're trying to be as careful as we can with these guys and get them ready for September.
Dan Wiederer.
Matt, sorry, also a little bit late here. Any update on Jason Spriggs? And then just in general, what were you most pleased with the action you got in today?
Yeah, so Spriggs has a right knee. We don't know anything yet. We're still looking into it. Hopefully he's okay. And then in regards to today, really big picture, I think it breaks up the monotony of camp, the periods that we have. We were able to get a lot of reps in. You saw we pulled back a little bit. We did about 5 or 6 kickoff returns. And then, once you do a lot of those, you want to save their legs a little bit. So we pulled back there. But I think it's the transition time, Dan, for just the player's mindset of going from a sideline back onto the field for a 4-play drive, back to the sideline, back to the field for a 9-play drive, and simulate some game situations. It's not perfect, but it just changes it up a little bit, and it allows us to script a little bit different too. So really, Ryan and I were just talking about it here on the walk back to the facility. You want to make sure that you're getting some great quality physical reps, mental reps while you're playing fast, but then you want to skate out of that thing as injury-free as you can, and I thought we did that.
JJ Stankovitz.
Hey, Matt, curious, what was your initial diagnosis of the interception Nick threw, the one that Eddie picked off? It looked like it might have been a third down, or he was just trying to push the ball downfield. What did you see on that play?
Yeah, I got to go back and watch the tape, but I think there was a little bit of pressure on that throw where he pulled back a little bit, yanked the cord when he threw it, and the ball kind of floated in the air. I'll have to go back and check it out. So tomorrow I'll come back to you with exactly what happened on that play.
Kevin Fishbane.
Hey, man, what have been your impressions, and especially today, of David Montgomery, and maybe any changes you see from him this camp compared to last camp?
No changes, Kevin. The biggest thing with him is probably his confidence. Last year, coming in as a rookie, I think his expectations were set really high, which you love. And then you go through a season that we went through last year, and there can be frustrations at times. But I'm just trying to be the best mentor and coach that I can be to him. We have a wonderful relationship. We have a lot of respect for each other. And I like the way that he handles his day-to-day operations. He realizes how important he is to this offense. I love his mentality. He's a hard worker, and I think he's eager to really go out and show what he can do. And he understands that this thing's a marathon, and he really has a lot of respect for that part. So we just keep building on our relationship and just talking through where we're at. But I'm really excited to see what he does this year.
Pat Finley.
Matt, how did you think Foles looked today? And I'm curious, given the experience that your assistant coaches have with him going back years, does that inform the evaluation of him in practice at all? I know you're going to grade him the way you're going to grade him, but I imagine they've all seen him have a lot of good practices and probably a lot of bad ones too.
Yeah, no, they're both these quarterbacks right now are in the decision-making process of getting graded, where they understand after each practice we get together, we discuss where they're at. It's the decision-making, their accuracy, and the way they handle special situations. And today, there was a few throws that they both went back, but I thought, with Mitchell, he had that nice throw right down the middle to Jesper, and then Nick had a nice throw. I'm not sure if y'all could see or not, but he threw one towards the end of practice. He anticipated it, threw it early to Ted Ginn on the right side there. And so really those are the type of throws that we look for are these guys anticipating where that ball is going to be at and where the wide receiver is going to be at. And when you do that and you throw it on time, it really helps out the O-line. And then there's other times too where you got some movement in the pocket. I thought that they both did a good job of moving in the pocket, seeing the defense. And it's a little hard for the defense just because we're not live for the ones. And so they realize there's a major halo for those quarterbacks and they're not allowed to get touched or I freak out. So they try to do the best to stay away from them. So it's not as realistic as it may be in a game.
This is going to be the last question for Coach Dan Wiederer.
Matt, I was going to ask you about that throw from Mitch to Horsted and what you liked about that. And then also, in contrast to last year, we haven't seen Eddie Pinheiro take a kick yet. Where is he on your radar? I know you got a lot of other things to figure out, but where is he on your radar at this stage?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So in regards to the throw down the middle, when you see, that's one of those ones where, I don't say a whole lot when I'm back there watching the O&D go. I like to just kind of take it all in. But that was one where I got excited and told him I just thought it was a hell of a throw. Great vision, great anticipation, and you give a guy a chance to catch the ball and run. That's all you can ask for. So that was a great play. And then with Pinheiro, same thing. We're just our situations that we have. You can see we're putting these guys in different positions and they're working through things. And I think for him right now, it's just kind of an idea for all of us to just kind of see where he's at and get going here. We're going to start putting these guys through some punting and special teams and field goal stuff and really get them moving. So we're just not there yet.
Awesome. That's it, Coach. Appreciate the time.
Hey, David, how's it going?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. From our perspective, looks like you might be a little slimmer, a little quicker than last year. Do you feel any of that? Is there a feeling in your body that you're a little different than a year ago?
Yeah. I definitely think that was a big emphasis for me this offseason, just being sure that I focus on my body maintenance, being sure I put the right things in my body, and being able to cut some weight and be able to, move a little limber, because last year I wasn't moving the way I know I could.
JJ Stankovitz.
Hey, David, when you say you weren't moving the way you know you could last year, what do you mean by that? How did that affect your game?
I think for me, I just was a lot slower than I know. I could, I was capable of moving it, and it affected the game. I kind of let myself get in the way of myself as far as what I ate last year. I didn't really care. I was a rookie. I just kind of was just eating whatever. But now, it's definitely a main vocal point in my everyday life, is just being sure that I put the right things in my body so that I can carry over into the field.
Kevin Fishbane.
So, David, what specifically did you do this offseason to get your body to where you want it to be and to pick up some speed?
I stayed away from a lot of the foods that cause a lot of inflammation. I cut away red meat. I ate a lot of fish and leaner protein like chicken. I liked a lot of quinoa. So that was pretty a lot of vocal points for the way I ate and what I chose to fuel myself with for me the off season. So when I went to training, I felt 100%. I didn't feel sluggish. I felt like I was ready to go, and I felt like I benefited from that.
Pat Finley.
David, what were you eating last year that you're not allowed to eat anymore?
I was eating Flamin' Hot every day. My favorite thing was Flamin' Hot beef jerky. and like some Swiss cheese. Probably like a bad to y'all, but to me, it was the best thing in the world. But I realized that wasn't good for me. Whenever I had the craving for like a Krispy Kreme donut or something, I definitely go have one back in the day. But now I fight the urge to go have one.
Dan Wiederer.
David, in conjunction with the physical changes, mentally, what's different for you in year two, and where do you feel more comfortable when you're out there in the backfield?
Yeah, for me, year two is definitely a big leap from, of course, from my rookie to my second year. Just being able to understand a lot of stuff I didn't understand as fast last year. It's like understanding the offense more, knowing like concepts, knowing like defenses, knowing the personnel. So just being on top of that and being able to, how fast the game was for me last year, seeing it kind of slow down here is pretty cool to see.
Pat Finley.
How do the changes to the run scheme affect you? Do they fit you better, do you think?
I think all run scheme is pretty good. As long as I just get the opportunity to run and, be able to be out there with my teammates and with my line and be able to run the ball is pretty sweet. So run scheme now is great. Every run scheme to me is pretty good. So I love it anyway.
Cheryl Ray.
David, you're a young player, but how does a quarterback competition affect what you do on the field?
Yeah, I kind of don't, look at it that way. I kind of look at it as both of those guys are great guys, great quarterbacks, and to see those guys just go out there every day and, just make each other better is the big thing for me. So it really doesn't affect me much because they're both great human beings and even better quarterbacks.
Dan Wiederer.
David, when you guys get going in 3 weeks and you go into Ford Field and there's no fans in the stands, what are your curiosities about what the game day atmosphere is going to be like for the first time in a long time where you're playing in an empty place?
I think the atmosphere will be pretty much different. You'll catch me like dancing by myself a lot more because I don't have many eyes on me. So I think the big thing is for me, it's still football at the end of the day, being able to, take it serious and also being able to go out there and have fun at the same time.
Mark Rohde.
David, how much weight did you lose? Is there a number on it?
Yeah, I went from last year I was playing like 223, 224. I'm like 218 now.
Pat Finley.
Would you play out in college, and was there a little bit of muscle gain too if you put on weight between the end of college and the start of the pros?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely focus a lot more on being sure that I was strength conditioned. And I say that in the sense of being sure that I was still lifting weights. Because you hear a lot of stories of guys get to the NFL, they stop lifting and stop doing stuff like that. But I'd be sure that I emphasize that into my daily regimen when I worked out. Just being sure that I've balanced both things as it being, conditioning, strength, mobility, all of the things that really play a large part in being successful here in the pros. So just being sure that I, focus on, taking care of myself and being sure that I still continue to grow with my strength.
2 more for David. Dan Wiederer.
David, maybe a strange and general question, but how do you feel physically? What feels different to you with everything that you've improved and modified?
I feel amazing, actually. Yeah, I think everything just feels good right now. As far as my body, I'm not as sore as I was last year, just because of the lack of foods that I don't eat that has a lot of inflammation to it. So I feel good in that part, and just running, just being able to run and just feeling good at how I run and being able to make the right cuts and stuff like that. Definitely, it feels good. So I feel good.
Last one for David. Pat Finley.
Give me a good one.
What did you do during the pandemic? Where were you? How were you working out? With whom were you working out? And just how bizarre was the whole thing?
That was the best you can give me, for me, the off season, I stayed here in Chicago. I worked out with probably the best strength trainer in the world. Her name is Jordan. She trains over at EFT, but she's awesome. Her and her family were the best. They took care of me as far as working out, being sure that I can go have a place to train. And then I had another speed trainer, Coach Corfus. he's well known, trains a lot of like Olympians and stuff like that with my speed. So those 2 and 2 went hand in hand, and I definitely was able to grind and being able to, go back and forth with them and just get better every day.
Awesome. That's it, David. Appreciate the time.
No problem. Thank you all.
What's up, Cody? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Today's work, what do you feel like you guys got out of the way it was structured today? And obviously, a second year, you've done some of this.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most plays we've taken so far this training camp too. So just, some conditioning and, kind of a little bit more game-like feel for us to get conditioned for that.
JJ Stankovitz.
Cody, what's been the challenge for you going between Mitch and Nick on sometimes a play-by-play basis, just especially trying to develop a chemistry with Nick?
Yeah, it's really gone pretty smooth for the most part. Both guys have done a great job. Both guys are really taking command of the huddle well, and I feel like our execution is doing pretty well on with both guys in there. So it's gone really smooth for the most part.
Jason Leisure.
Cody, how much are you able to tell at this point how well the new offensive line is coming together?
Yeah, we continue to work every day. We're working on our fundamentals and the basics of just run blocking and pass blocking, and we're getting some really good work right now. So we'll just continue doing that, and it'll carry over to the games.
Pat Finley.
How would you describe the difference in the run attack this year compared to last year? And how do you think it fits Montgomery?
Yeah, I mean, David's done a great job up to this point. We're just going to continue, working on fundamentals up front and securing our blocks so that the guys in the backfield can make those big plays.
Larry Mayer.
Hey, Cody, earlier in the week, Juan Castillo talked about putting a lot of responsibility on the center like he always has. And if anybody else screws up, he basically comes to you. How much do you embrace that role in terms of leadership, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot. Obviously, he's putting, a lot of trust in me, and that's, that makes me feel pretty good. But as the center, you are the leader. It all starts with your points and your calls. So, we just got to make sure everybody's on the same page and continue the small steps that we're taking.
Brad Biggs.
Hey, Cody, if you guys go to more stuff this season that's not in the gun, do you think that could benefit the running game?
Yeah, I mean, I think, no matter if it's under center or gun runs, we're gonna make the best of it, and we're gonna execute the plays. We felt like we left a little bit, as far as the run game, we weren't as good as we could be last year. So we've really stepped up in that regard and tried to really focus on that and make sure we get it right for this year.
Kevin Fishbane.
Hey, Cody, you've had a few different offensive line coaches now since you've been in the league. What about Coach Castillo makes him different? I know everyone says fundamentals technique, but what about the way he coaches it really has meshed with you guys?
Yeah, he just starts every day with the basic fundamentals. And I think, as long as we keep that up like we're going to, no matter if it's week 1 or week 17, just keep working those fundamentals. That's going to help us later down the road, and we're not going to forget, certain little things and the basics of what it means to play O-line as far as our feet and hands. So, we're going to keep doing that, in week 1 and week 17, and that's going to help us be a better line.
Last two for Cody. Dan Wiederer.
Cody, you obviously have built a pretty significant bond with Mitch over 3 years, but now Nick comes in, and I imagine you probably just met him 3 or 4 weeks ago in person for the first time. What's left an impression on you about who he is off the field, and then what's left an impression on you about who he is as a quarterback?
Yeah, he's a great dude off the field. He's trying to get to know, the team and that kind of stuff. But on the field, he's just done a great job with, coming in the huddle and just leading the guys. And Mitch has done a great job too. So they've both done a great job, and, we look forward to continue to work with those guys.
Kevin Fishbane.
Oops, sorry. Hey, Cody, what have you thought about James, how he looks a little different this year, what it's been like, and also Jermaine on the other side, what have been your impressions of him?
Yeah, I'll start with James. As you can tell, James put on some weight. He's put on some muscle. He's moving really well. He had a great offseason. And you can see that on the field. He's really moving guys, and he's really focusing on his technique, and he's done a great job. So we look forward to seeing him on Sundays. And then Jermaine, he's a big guy. So that's nice to have him over there. He's long. His arms are long. He gets on guys, and that's going to be. He's a powerful guy too, so he's going to help us out as well.
Last one, Pat Finley.
Hey, Cody, as a player, do you appreciate the challenge that the coaches have in terms of trying to ramp up competition without having any exhibition games to point to? And what have you guys done anything totally different in the first couple of weeks here to kind of manufacture that intensity where it doesn't exist?
Yeah, I think today was a big step, for us getting more of a game feel and, certain situations that we're going to face in the game. So I think they've done a really good job, and they've really, helped us in this ramp up period, get our bodies ready for what we got in a few weeks.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Cody. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys.
What's up, Jalen? How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Real good. Chuck said yesterday that one of the things he's curious to see from you when you're full go is how you respond to getting beat, and that's going to come, and he wants to see how you react to that. How would you reassure him about what it's going to be like after you make a few mistakes and get beat by NFL receivers a few times?
Honestly, I just think that's through actions. I mean, I can say, oh, I'm going to be tough, coach, I'm going to be all right. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to when I get in that moment, how am I going to show them, how am I going to respond? I've been beat. I play the corner position, so, you're going to get beat all the time. Not all the time, but you're going to get beat a few times. So, at the end of the day, for me, it's just about having that confidence that I'm going to get the next one back, or I'm going to make a play and make up for it. So, I'm not concerned when that situation does come.
Brad Biggs.
Hey, Jalen. I'm curious, when did you get a feel when you were a freshman in school that you were going to have a chance to contribute in that first season? And what are some sort of things you're trying to show the coaches to prove that you can help them right away here?
My freshman year, I want to say in college, I knew right away coming into it. I knew what the depth chart was looking like on my way into Utah. So, at the end of the day, it was just about learning my assignment and then just perfecting my technique. And that was something I did throughout my whole career. So, nothing changes now being a rookie, just coming in, showing them that I know my assignment and then that I can perfect my technique and play good football.
Kevin Fishbane.
Hey, Jalen, from what you have been able to do in practice so far, what have been your impressions in terms of the speed of the game, the speed of some of the receivers you've gone up against? How have you kind of felt so far in this first 3 days?
I felt really good. Just from what I have been able to do, just going out there and being able to compete. The speed hasn't been too shocking for me. It's been really easy to adjust to. It's just about learning the game, learning some tricks that come with going to the next level and playing against professional athletes. So, it's just about going day by day and just getting better every day.
Jason Leisure.
Jalen, along those lines, how quickly did you feel that you were ready to play at this level?
I've always felt like I was ready. Even in college, I prepared my whole life. I prepared in college. Just everything I've been doing was to be ready for this situation. So now coming into it and it being real, I feel like everything I've worked for, everything I've been doing all these years, just came to pass. And now that I'm here, I feel like I'm ready. I still have my rookie mistakes to get out the way. But physically, I feel like I'm ready and I'm up there with the best of them.
Pat Finley.
Hi, Jalen. Walk us through after having the shoulder surgery. When did you start to feel somewhat normal again, and how do you feel now?
I feel good now. I couldn't tell you when I started feeling normal necessarily. It was just about attacking my physical therapy day by day, and just trying to get better every day. And then gradually, I don't know at what point I felt normal, but I feel pretty good now considering where I'm at in my timeline. So I'm just still building every day, just trying to get better.
Is it hard to stay patient?
Yeah, definitely. When you see everybody out here competing, and you just want to get a part of all of it entirely. So, I mean, for me, it's just staying true to myself and just knowing who I am, what I'm able to do, and then just trusting the staff, trusting the trainers and everything like that, just that they're protecting me and that I'm going to be good for the long run.
Mark Grody.
Yeah, that said, with the ramping up period, Jalen, do you think that you do have a chance to be a starting cornerback when you guys open the season in Detroit? Are you going to have that opportunity?
I mean, I have no idea. I don't know what the head man is saying. I don't know what the coaches are saying. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to go out and get better and do my part. And then if they select me to be that, then I'll be more than ready. But I mean, I don't know that answer.
Brad Biggs.
Have you been able to learn? I'm sure you're picking up stuff from the fellow cornerbacks in the meeting room, on the practice field. Have you been able to pick up some stuff that you can use and can help you from some of the wide receivers?
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I like about this team is they give a lot of feedback. So, I mean, when we go through 7-on-7, we go through drills or whatever, there's some times where they give us give me some tips. I don't know if they do that to everybody, but they give me some tips and saying, hey, when certain things are going this way, you can expect certain things. So, I mean, that's just very helpful, getting that information, getting that feedback from them. So, I mean, it's definitely a pleasure to have teammates that care and want you to get better.
Do you have a specific example of maybe somebody that pointed something out to you?
You said what?
Do you have a specific example of maybe a teammate that sort of gave you a small pointer like that?
I would say Jawan Williams, we call him Juice, but there was definitely a time where he helped me out.
Dan Wiederer.
Jalen, what's the extent of your relationship with Kyle Fuller early on, and who else have you developed a bond with early on?
To the extent, I mean, we're just teammates, I guess, right now. I mean, I reached out to him during like some of our Zoom meetings and just was talking to him about how he prepares, what he was doing in the off season, just trying to learn from him because I mean he's been doing it and he's been in the game for a long time. So even now, being in the facility again, I've asked him to watch film together. I asked him certain things he's looking at, how does he play certain techniques. I mean, for me, I just feel like it's about showing effort to these guys that I'm really trying to learn. I'm trying to be where they're at. So I mean, even with Eddie Jackson, we've gotten closer on the field as time went on, and just being able to make improvement with those guys off the field as well is helping on the field.
Mike Berman.
Jalen, you said, you don't know if you're going to be a starter week one, but it seems like the opportunity's there for you to compete for a starting job opposite Kyle as a rookie. How do you view that opportunity, and what are the steps that you plan to take to try and earn that role?
I mean, the steps I've been taking my whole life, just trying to get better day by day, just going at each day, just trying to attack it and really get better mentally, physically, spiritually, mentally, just trying to prepare myself in all aspects of life to be able to overcome that position and really being able to take it over and just have the trust of the teammates and the team and organization as a whole that I can fill that position.
Last two here for Jalen. Pat Finley.
Jalen, I'm curious what it's like to see Artie Burns, one of the guys you're competing with, go down literally on the second day. And have you talked to him since his injury, and what advice has he given you?
I mean, that definitely is terrible on different levels. I would never want to see a teammate go down. So, I mean, when he went down, it was kind of the whole sign kind of just went down. The little mojo kind of changed a little bit, just seeing that our brother went down and that he's not going to be able to compete and play with us this year. So, I mean, every time I see him, I try to lift him up, say what's up to him, really not talk about the injury too much, but just let him know that I'm here and just being able to say what's up or whatever it can be to help him keep his spirits up.
Last one, Dan Wiederer.
Jalen, what are your curiosities about playing football in an empty stadium when the season begins? And as a rookie, is it a bit of a buzzkill to have that part of the NFL experience not there the first year?
I definitely feel like it has its pros and cons. I mean, definitely I've never played or been to an NFL stadium before. So I mean, just being able to miss out on that experience is a bummer. But I feel like communication and being able to hear other people talk on the field would be fun and interesting, and you can definitely communicate better in the practice field with no fans, and it will kind of be the same thing, you know, on game day, having no fans, being able to really communicate and hear each other, and just talk through plays and things.
Relax. Reset. Rejuvenate. Go to our link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60.
Hey, Jimmy. A lot has been discussed about Cole Kmet. Your head coach, Matt Nagy, said that you've kind of been raving about him. What is it about Cole Kmet that you've seen that you like so much, and maybe as opposed to other young tight ends that you've been around?
First, his intelligence, his football intelligence, and his ability to soak in these plays and understand his assignments, and understand football and defenses is extremely impressive for a young kid who's doesn't have a game under his belt. That's been the most impressive thing that I can say I noticed with him. Also, he's every bit of 260. He reminds me of a young me, and he's got big legs, and the amount of potential that the kid has and the amount of talent that he has is truly unbelievable.
Caitlin Sharkey.
Jimmy, what have been your initial impressions here in camp of both Nick and Mitch and kind of that whole competition? You've been through a lot of training camps. You've worked with a lot of quarterbacks. What's kind of been your impressions early on?
Obviously, man, they both played some ball and they've seen a lot. We have a bunch of new coaches and so their ability to soak all that in and still be competitive. For us, every period, every pass, and every play is extremely competitive for both of them. It's been amazing to see both of them handle it, and both of them grow each day. In this offense, and with the new things that are being asked.
Pat Finley.
Jimmy, take this question in any direction you'd like, but what's been the biggest difference between here and the Packers through your first week?
Besides the fact that they both hate each other, it's obviously 2 years with the Packers. For me, was a unique time. Obviously going through the head coach change there, wasn't something I was expecting. To go through the new coach and have a new offense. So, this will be my fourth offense in 4 years. The Bears organization from top down, nothing on Packers, obviously. I had a great season with them last year, going to the playoffs. But, this team, all they care about is winning, and all they care about is that Super Bowl. From the owner to the GM to the head coach, that is the complete focus on is, how to do it and do it now. And, it's the amount of energy that's in this building and the amount of hard work that we're doing over here is special. This team has a lot to prove, and, we know that we're going to just work each and every day to get better and better. As an offense, being able to play against that defense every day is special. They got a bunch of dogs on that side, and we got a bunch of dogs on this side. So, we're continually working each and every day, sharpening that iron.
Colleen Kane.
Hey, Jimmy, you talked about having experience getting up to speed with new offenses, but what's it like trying to do it in such a short period of time and also while a quarterback competition is going on?
Yeah, it's an extremely unique situation, I think, for not only us, but everybody in the league. The one good thing is, we've put in a lot of work off the field. This team, everybody came in shape and everybody came ready. There's been very, very little minimal mistakes, and this has been this training camp. If one mistake is made, it's quickly learned and on to the next, and it hasn't been repeated.
obviously this is unique with the offense and with the quarterback, but we believe in each other, and we know that every time we go out there, we have to, be locked in mentally. Coach has been really great with these walkthroughs, and with making sure that guys are paying attention to detail. That's been the biggest thing that's running through is the details. We can't let things slide. It's I always say in my tight end room that we're not friends, we're family. Family, they like to talk noise, but they also tell you when you're doing wrong. Friends are the ones that just pat you on the back. So, this organization, this offense, our head coach, he's about family. So that's what we're doing. We're holding everybody accountable, and we're making sure that everybody knows the standard of how this offense needs to run.
Dan Wiederer.
Hey, Jimmy, just following up on that, what did you do this spring and this summer to stay locked in when you couldn't be here? And just, obviously it's a short on-ramp for everybody going into the regular season, but for you joining a new team, a new offense, a quarterback competition, how are you dealing with this sort of condensed time period to be ready for week one?
I've gone through kind of this being away from the team a few times in my career. If it wasn't the lockout year, then it was, it was the year I had a wrist surgery, or the year that, I held out, and all those times I came ready. So I came with kind of that approach to this off season of, doing what I know best, and that's work. I had the ability to work, unfortunately, by myself for 6 months, so I knew that coming here, it was going to be the first time I got to meet my new brothers, and the first time I got to be able to work out around these guys. For me, I was just hungry to get back in here with the guys and to be around a team. I remember 2 years ago when they won, and they're going in the playoffs, and the party that they had in that locker room. I remember what that looked like on TV, and so I knew what type of team, I knew what type of guys I was coming into this locker room. Keem Hicks, me and him go back a long ways. He's a big reason I am here. I know the type of player he is, and I know the passion he brings to this defense. Bringing Ted Ginn in is huge. He's an old vet that I've always looked up to. He's been around the league, and he's seen a lot of ball. And he has the ability to help his guys in his room. As we're going to need everybody, every man up, every down, and every game, and that's how we're approaching it. So that's how I saw an opportunity to get in here and to fill my cup with my brothers and to work on moving forward.
We're going to go two more for Jimmy. Mike Berman.
Jimmy, as you know, the tight end position did not perform like it needs to for the Bears last season. How do you envision the tight ends playing a big role this year and making a bigger impact, knowing what you do about yourself and Cole and how the tight end fits into Matt's offense?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened here last year, but it's a new year, and for me, I'm gonna bring my mindset and my work ethic, and I'm gonna make sure that our room holds ourselves accountable. We're gonna give everything we have each and every play. I can guarantee that. I can guarantee no lows, and I can guarantee that we're gonna know exactly what we need to do and how we need to do it. Being one of the older guys on the team, I'm gonna continue to be vocal, in a positive way, and to uplift my guys, just to make sure that everybody goes into each and every week extremely confident, and is ready to play, ready to have fun out there. And the only way to have fun is to move that rock, get third downs, and score. And that's the only mindset that we have.
Last question for Jimmy. Larry Mayer.
Hey, Jimmy, with the opportunity that you have this year to be a big part of the offense, how would you say, how rejuvenated do you feel joining the Bears this year?
Man, it's a truly special time for me. I have a lot to prove. I have a big chip on my shoulder to do as best as I can with this new opportunity. I'm extremely blessed to be here with such a young group of guys that are so hungry. I know you guys aren't in this locker room, but you can feel the buzz, and you can feel the buzz in the building. There's no excuses. No one's looking around and saying, We got to do this, we got to do that. This organization has done a great job to keep us all healthy, to hold us all accountable, and to make sure on these off days that we're accountable, so that we come in here and work. For me, this might be the most special time, because I want to retire here, and this is where I want to end it. And there's only one way to end it, and hopefully that's what won in that final game.
The Rewind Sports 60.
Relax. Reset. Rejuvenate. Go to our link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60.
Feel today, just to get back out there with the pads on, did it feel kind of just like a normal practice to you?
Most definitely. It was for all the guys, that we have a real passion for football, right, or a real love for football, and have been doing this their entire lives. This whole situation has been, put us out of whack. Coming back to football has kind of given us a sense of, regularity. So it does feel good to be back out there, and it does feel like football again.
Dan Weeder.
Akeem, first, how much did Khalil pay you to pinch hit for him today with us?
To what?
The pinch hit for him today, talking to us.
Oh, I didn't know I was pitch hitting. Hey, I thought you wanted to talk to me, but I can always make it to my meeting early. So
when you talk about getting back into whack after being knocked out of whack by all the situation, how easy has it been, and what's been the key over the last couple of weeks of just getting sort of into a rhythm?
Oh, Stacey Dales is here. Hey, Stacey, how you doing? Sorry, I missed your question. What was it?
Just, you said you got knocked out of whack due to COVID and everything. In the last couple of weeks, what has it taken to get into a rhythm, to get into a feeling, a routine, and to make everything feel normal again?
Oh man, you just get back into it. You get fully immersed back into just your regular routine, your regular schedule, and being around the guys and being around the football facility kind of makes it just that much easier. You start to find your groove again, and it just becomes natural. It feels natural. So we have a lot of precautions and things going on around here to make sure that we're as safe as we can be. But after you get past all that, it turns into a regular day of just preparation for your season.
Chris Sema.
Akeem, obviously Eddie Goldman's a really tough guy to replace on that defensive line. How do you guys feel like you're set to do that? And Bilal Nichols was a guy who said he really kind of taken ownership and potentially play that nose role. Do you feel like what's the scouting report for him?
I feel like, to address first Eddie Goldman, very supportive and understanding of his move and what he has to do for his future. So that's first. Secondly, I would put Eddie Goldman up against any nose tackle in the league as one of the best to do it. And he just has this natural football feel to him. And, I have a lot of respect for him as a player and a person. So he will be missed around the building, right? Bilal Nichols is going to step in and play the best football that he can, and he showed promise through his first couple years. So we look forward to him taking the next progression, the next step forward, and shoot, getting another position down.
Kevin Fishman.
Hey, Keem. Coach Nagy told us a couple weeks ago that he thought you looked like the best shape you've looked to start a training camp. Do you feel that? And if so, how you're able to get in such great shape, being away from the building for this whole time and kind of balancing the pandemic and everything?
Oh, it was tough. I think it was tough on everybody. I think it was tough for guys to find whatever regimen or routine that was going to work for them and make sure that they could, get their body, into a place where they feel like they can perform and play football. And so I think for older guys that have been through an off season before and have had different situations where they train with different trainers or they train themselves, I think it was actually just a little bit more, it was pretty efficient, for me. Even though I didn't have a great workspace, I ran at my local park. I worked out in my garage, my home gym in my garage. And, I felt good. I feel good being back. And, no matter what you do in the off season, though, you can never get in football shape. It's an entirely different world when you're running around and you're hitting guys and you're doing those different, football type movements. But I think everyone here took a special interest in making sure that we were prepared to come back. And I remember during the Zoom meetings, it was something that Nagy really pushed towards and made sure the guys understood that there was going to be an expectancy of, being able to perform when we got here. So I think everybody did a really good job of that, not just myself.
We're going to go JJ Stankovitz, Mark Potash.
Akeem, kind of along those same lines, you have less time to get ready into real football shape before week 1 starts this year. So what's your understanding of the challenge of trying to get ready for the Lions with only really 15 practices to do so here?
I would say this, that I think everybody's dealing with the same calendar. Let's start with that. Every team is dealing with the same calendar. So, when we go to play another team, how we spent our days of practice and how they spent their days of practice is really going to tell when we step on the field. So I think that for us here, we're just trying to make sure that we execute and take advantage of all the time that we do have and not really look at it as a situation of, oh, I missed this or missed that. It's everybody's starting on the same page and we just got to push to a point where we feel like we can dominate and get into that postseason.
We've got time for one more. We're going to close out with Mark Potash.
Hey, Keem. We've talked to players about, players who have chips on their shoulders, have something to prove. You've kind of been there in that situation before. So I guess my question is just general. What's your motivation at this point in your career? What's the way to say what your motivation is right now, heading into this season?
I guess I learned a long time ago that, not everybody's going to respect what you do. Not everybody's going to be, high on you as a player and believe that you're, one of the, the chosen, few to be at the top of the ratings and stuff like that, or PFF or whatever, what have you. For me, my personal motivation is myself. I want to make sure that my time, playing the sport that I love, that I've given the majority of my life to is, it's worth something. And so for me being, in my 9th year, I find that wanting to perform at my best, taking all the wisdom that I've garnered over these past years and applying it, that's my motivation. It makes me, it excites me. So.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Akeem.
Sure.
The Rewind Sports 60.
Relax. Reset. Rejuvenate. Go to our link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60.
The Rewind
Sports 60. From the city of big shoulders, the jewel of the Midwest, comes a sports show that's one of a kind. From iconic players to iconic stadiums to iconic teams, this is my kind of town. Chicago! And the Rewind Sports 60 is my kind of show. From Air Jordan to Sweetness to Papa Bear Hallis, this city works hard, but plays even harder. Danny Carlino and Jerry Riles bring you the Rewind Sports 60. Live. The Rewind Sports 60 starts now.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. We're broadcasting, streaming live on Facebook, broadcasting from the world's famous WCPT 820 AM here in the beautiful, beautiful city of Chicago. This is another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, and I'm pleased and honored and privileged to be joined in studio by the one, the only, the fabulous one, the beautiful one, the intelligent one, and sometimes feisty one. She's the one. She's the only. She's Lauren Cox at Comcast CN100. What's up, Lauren? How are you?
How are you, Jerry? How are you today? And I mean, Jesus, it's insane what's going on, but still a lot going on in sports news, and we have an amazing show today.
Yeah,
so,
we do.
We cannot complain. We cannot complain. We have the draft, and we've got the mayor coming, so we're good to go.
We certainly do. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to sit by your wherever you may be. Sit by the radio. Sit by your smartphone, all right? Sit by your smartphone. Sit by your computer. Sit out on the deck. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here in the greatest city in the world, that, of course, Chicago, Illinois. I went out for a stroll with my lovely wife and my beautiful kids, and people were out. They were hanging out, Lauren, on the lawn. They were walking the dog. Yep. They were doing a little bit of gardening. Some people were cooking out. It was a beautiful thing out there. And I know we're going to expect some rain later tomorrow in the early part of this upcoming week. But then the temperatures are going to hit 65, 70 degrees and some sunshine. So I'm anticipating a great week as the weather eventually begin to turn. But I got to tell you, it was a breath of fresh air to be able to get out of the house and get around. But I want to say, hey, listen, this thing is still going. Our governor, J.B. Pritzker, extended the stay-at-home ordinance for the state of Illinois through May 25th, or the end of the month. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stay inside and stay safe. As Lauren hinted, we got a great show on tap for you, no question about it. The great mayor of our great city of Chicago, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, will be joining us momentarily to talk sports, because she's a big sports fan.
Yes.
There's no question about it. The lady is a big sports fan in a great sports town.
Absolutely.
She's going to be joining us to talk about sports, COVID-19, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity to pick her brain about the Bears' #1 pick, second-round selection out of Notre Dame, the tight end Cole Kmet, who will be joining us on the Rewind Sports 60 here as well.
Cannot believe it.
I can't believe it. And what's the beauty about it, with those two phenomenal guests coming on, we still have an opportunity to talk about the greatest of all time, the GOAT,
The
Last Dance.
Yes.
Episodes 3 and 4 tonight, kicking things off. So if you're near your phone, if you're near the phone, feel free to give us a call, 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. Love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and anything in the world of sports, or I don't know necessarily politics, but definitely this pandemic that's going on. We certainly definitely would love to hear from you. Before we get started, your thoughts on The Last Dance. Tonight's episode is supposed to feature a lot about not Scottie Pippen. We heard about him last week.
Right.
Dennis Rodman.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
And Phil as well. I'm actually really looking forward to episodes 3 and 4, because those two have some very colorful stories, to say the least.
Yeah.
So I'm super interested to hear how their story unfolds. But of course, we got a chance to hear Mike and Scottie. And so what I talked about last week was Jerry Cross and kind of understanding his we knew what his dynamic was, but we didn't know the degree to what his dynamic was in terms of, he built the team. Yes, he did. But he also blew the team up.
Mm-hmm.
And just thinking back on it now, nobody could fathom that you have the elite team, the #1 player of all mankind, and you're going to bust it up for what? Your ego?
Yep.
Your pride?
Mm-hmm.
Because you weren't getting enough accolades?
Yeah.
What about those 6 beautiful trophies? Like, that wasn't enough accolade for you, Jerry.
Well, Lauren, you have to remember, players don't win championships. Organizations do.
Right, yeah.
We see how far the organization has come and has gone since that time. We'll get an opportunity to talk more about The Last Dance and want you to be a part of our conversation as well. But we go out to our TR60 hotline, and we're pleased to be joined by the Honorable Madam Mayor Lori Lightfoot on our TR60 hotline right here at WCPT 820 AM, the Rewind Sports 60. Mayor Lightfoot, how are you?
Well, I was listening with great interest to your conversation about The Last Dance.
Well, you know what? First of all, thank you so very much for taking some time out on this, I have to say, a busy Sunday, because it seems as if you're always busy regarding this pandemic. We appreciate you taking time out to join us on the fastest hour in sports conversation here in the great city of Chicago, the Rewind Sports 60. But we're looking forward to this Last Dance, Mayor. I'm sure you had an opportunity to take some time last week to check it out. I don't know if you watched it live for the 2 hours, but what are your thoughts from what you've been able to see?
Well, it was painful to watch, right? Because the notion that you would take an iconic maybe once in a generation player and break up a team with that level of talent, you got that kind of a player after spending time building and putting the elements around him. It didn't make any sense to me then, and it doesn't make any sense to me with the benefit of hindsight. It was just ego over good business sense, ego over good sports management. It didn't make any sense.
No, it certainly didn't make any sense. And one reason it didn't make any sense to me, and I'm sure millions of people, not only Chicagoans, but around the country and around the world, is the fact that by this time, I mean, these guys have won, 5 championships, right? So by this time, you clearly, even if you're a novice sports fan, a novice basketball fan, you clearly knew, unless you had your head, buried in the sand or something, you knew that Michael Jordan was definitely the best there ever was at this particular time. And as Michael said, you ride this thing until the wheels fall off. He said, we worked our tails off to get to this point. We earned this. Give us an opportunity to lose it. And you're right. It was painful, and it was disappointing that Jerry Krause couldn't put his ego aside to reload and continue to come back. Do you think that team, had it stayed intact, it stayed in place, could have possibly run off, another 2 championships?
I mean, you don't know, right? Weird things happen in sports, injuries happen, but why take the chance and not allow that great chemistry? They were the ultimate team. Why not allow that team to finish its run and not artificially pull the plug? Look, I lived in Chicago when Michael came, and the teams around him were very mediocre, and then they couldn't get past the bad boys in Detroit. I actually lived in Detroit for a year, that last year that Detroit had its run, and that was painful to watch. But then when you see this ascendancy, why would you stop that? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
None whatsoever. And so we got to ask the $1 million question, because since that time, we've had some blips on the radar, so to speak, as far as some draft picks are concerned. We got Jay Williams out of Duke, and he had an unfortunate, tragic accident. Thank goodness it was life-threatening. Right. But he was projected to turn that thing around. And hence, it was Jerry Krause, because you remember when Michael Jordan left, his locker at the United Center, it was vacant. No one wanted to even touch that locker.
Right.
Jerry Krause told Jay Williams, hey, that's your locker over there. And everyone's, hey, wait, that's the king. That's Michael Jordan's. And Jerry's like, he's no longer here. Hey, that's yours. And we see what happened with Jay Williams. Then, of course, we fast forward, we get our own Chicago product in Derrick Rose. And we think that he's the savior.
Yes.
And a blessing. And then what happens? He has the torn ACL. Do you think, because of what Jerry Krause did, because a lot of people speculate, that this team has a curse on it because of that move, breaking up the dynasty team?
Well, I don't think it has a curse, but I think that they've made a lot of questionable decisions. I mean, look, if you look back through NBA history, right, it's a very unusual thing to be able to build a team around a point guard or a shooting guard. It's usually a center, power forward, and then the rest of the pieces. Michael was obviously unique, as he wasn't really a point guard, but a small forward, I would say. Magic obviously was just, again, one of those once in a generation kind of players. But the great teams were not built around 6'1", 6'2", 1 or 2 guards. And so what you're talking about is, the drafting of Jay Williams. We'll never know what came of that because he had an unfortunate motorcycle accident. I mean, Derrick Rose is obviously an incredible talent, but even there, they didn't get better until the other pieces were around him. He couldn't consistently take over a game by himself and score 30, 40 points. And really, you don't want that. You want to be able to get other people involved, get everybody touches, have everybody down to the 6th, 7th man contributing to the flow, because otherwise you're going to burn out with a long NBA season. I just think that they haven't had the luck of the right draft picks at the right time to really build the team. And I think the thing that is really the problem, it's not a curse, is, you hear gossip from NBA players that they don't believe in the organization and therefore we're very reluctant to come. Now, we're turning the page with a new general manager. I'm anxious to see him build out his team. I like the Reinsdorf personally very much, and I hope that this is really the start of a new beginning. But the proof is in the pudding. They're going to have to put the team on the floor, bring back the crowds, and demonstrate once again that Chicago is a force to be reckoned with, and that remains to be seen.
It certainly does. We're on with the great mayor of our city of Chicago, the great city, Chicago, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, joining us on the Rewind Sports 60 WCPT 820 AM.
Mayor Lightfoot, this is Lauren Cox here. I have so many sports questions that I wanted to ask you, and I saw that tweet that you tweeted last week. You had a super cool Bulls hat on, and I think you said, "Don't at me for 54 minutes, hashtag Last Dance." So that was so funny. I'm like, I've got to hear what her first impressions were. But again, we know that you are a huge sports fan, and you've been in Chicago for many, many years. A Chicago Bears season ticket holder for 20 years, Chicago White Sox ticket holder, and WNBA Chicago Sky season ticket holder as well. So I have to ask you, what are your thoughts on the moves that the Bears made during the offseason and the draft as well?
Well, I think that they definitely upgraded at linebacker, and I'm forgetting the guy's name, but the guy that they got from Dallas, that seems like a significant upgrade. Nick Foles is very interesting, right? I mean, he's had such iconic moments, but then he's not been consistent. So I think bringing in some competition for Trubisky is the right thing. Is Nick Foles the answer? We're going to see once they get out on the field and start putting it together on the offense. But the inconsistency of Trubisky over these last few years, it's just, even in the year that we had a great run, what you saw, I think, last year was the inconsistent offense wasn't producing. I thought the play calling was very pedestrian. And then you saw the defense every game getting gassed because they were out on the field too long. That's still a really solid defense. A lot of really great players. Now, I think they've got to pick it up, and I'm interested to see some of the draft picks on the defensive end. But I felt like way too often we just got outcoached. And for me, again, it really starts with the offense. And, let's mix it up. Let's not be predictable and try to run up the gut against teams where they've got that lockdown. But really, we need much more consistent play at the quarterback.
You know what? You make a very valid point. A lot of people were beside themselves. We talked about it all season long right here on the Rewind Sports 60 that Matt Nagy and his play calling was very, very suspect. But do you think it was partly due with the fact that Mitchell Trubisky isn't his quarterback? That's Ryan Pace's quarterback draft, and, we know the history behind that. And it seemed as if Matt Nagy was put into a position to try to bring the best out of this kid as much as he possibly could, despite the fact that he wasn't designed to run Matt Nagy's offense. Did you feel or sense any of that watching this debacle that we just witnessed this past season?
Well, I mean, go back a season prior, right? Mitch Trubisky's never going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. I just don't see that in him. But does he have the ability to stay within the offense and manage a game so that the defense then can bear down? And, yeah, I think he's got that capability. But the consistency wasn't there. And for me, it really started with the preseason. I don't think this guy, who had very few game reps in college, why do you not give him game reps in the preseason? Now, I understand there's a concern always about getting somebody hurt in preseason, but he's a guy that's got to get reps. And I hope they won't make that same mistake this year.
You and me both, Mayor Lightfoot. I have to ask you, I heard that during election night, you didn't want to hear any preliminary poll results. You wanted to wait until the final count, and you had the Duke versus Virginia Tech game on instead of listening to what was going on beforehand. So walk me through that. What was going through your mind that night? And is it true? Did you really have the Duke versus Virginia Tech game on while you're sitting here seeing if you could be and do the impossible and be the next mayor of Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, I had a crowd in my room when we were waiting for the results to come in, and over time they just kind of filtered out. And we had the game on, and I just stayed watching. You know, I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. I mean, we at that point were running the campaign on a shoestring. We knew it was going to be tight. We were hoping for a 1 or 2 finish, but really didn't know what the result was going to be. And I'm sitting there watching the game by myself, and all of a sudden I hear this scream. I thought, well, what could that be? And I'm hoping, obviously, that it could be a good thing.
Right.
I hear a scream, people running, and of course that was distracting, but nobody came in. And I found out later it was the first time that one of the stations had shown the preliminary results, and it showed me in first place. And people just went wild, of course. And then, you know, eventually when I kept hearing more and more and more, I said, all right, I got to find out what's going on. And stuck my head out of the room, like, what's up?
Right.
And then I started finding out that we were getting very good news. But yes, I did watch the Duke Virginia Commonwealth game, and I started watching a second game that night, which I think was a Big Ten game, which I can't remember now which one it was, but sports is always a nice distraction for me.
You know what? It's interesting you mentioned the Big Ten, and I love you. I think you're doing a heck of a job. There's no question about it. I'm sure not you and none of us anticipated what we're going through right now with this pandemic. Yeah. I mean, we knew that there are issues here in Chicago, and we knew that we needed a new voice and a change of pace, and that you were going to bring that. But none of us anticipated what we're actually going through and experiencing. And I give credit, I'm sure Lauren and everyone here at WCPT give you credit, and your administration. You know, kudos on how you're handling this thing, because this is unprecedented, uncharted waters that we're in, and there's necessarily not any right answers. It's just, hey, let's see how we get along. But I say that to say I'm impressed, surprised, and happy that you got back on the right track, because you are a product of the Buckeye State, Massillon, Ohio, the home of the great Ohio State Buckeyes. Somehow you got derailed and went up to that school up north, but then you regained your senses and you came here to the greatest city in the world, University of Chicago. How did you get off track for those few years, leaving a great state and coming back to a great state, in the middle of going to because as you well know, I'm a product of the Ohio State University, so I don't know how you lost focus and got off the rail. You took the scenic route. Is that what it was?
Well, so listen, I have an older brother who's 12 years older than me. So he started at Ohio State when I started kindergarten. And I remember he was on kind of like a 6 or 7 year plan, but, you know, he's counting. And I spent a huge chunk of my childhood driving down Route 71 to Ohio State. And, you know, my brother was a Q, and that'll resonate with some folks. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And going into his fraternity house was like something out of Animal House. So, you know, subconsciously, I think I probably rebelled against all of that and found my way to Amazing Blue, I Bleed Blue.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
But I'm, hey, listen, we don't have much to talk about when it comes to football, right? I was watching the draft over the last couple of days, and Michigan's quarterback didn't even get drafted, so that tells you something.
Well, you know what?
I feel badly for Shane Patterson, but not a total surprise that he didn't get drafted.
Well, let me say this to you, and I love my Buckeyes, and, you know, I thought we should have played in the national championship. We got robbed when we went up against Clemson, but I understand what the decision makers wanted. But I got to tell you this. Back during the 80s, your school owned the Buckeyes. I remember Jim Harbaugh. He he predicted. You know how Michigan weekend is, right? And
oh,
yeah. So the game was in Columbus. This guy, Jim Harbaugh, former Chicago Bear quarterback, he made a prediction that the Wolverines were going to come into the Horseshoe and beat the Ohio State Buckeyes. And for an entire week.
And remind me what happened. Remind me what happened.
I know it had, but for an entire week we were pumped up. We knew that our team wasn't going to let us down. He took a page out of Joe Namath's notebook and said, "Hey, we're coming up there to beat them," and they came in and beat us at the shoe in Columbus. It was unbelievable. So you guys had a run during the '80s that we just simply couldn't get by you. But now, hey, payback, as they say, Mayor. You know what they say. You know what they say.
And Michigan with Lloyd Carr decided that consistently winning 8 games a year, being very competitive in the Big Ten wasn't quite good enough. And then we went through the debacle of, I'll be polite and calling Rick Rod instead of what I'd normally say, Rich Rodriguez.
Yes.
And then Brady Hoke, who I had a lot of high expectation for. And, it's no secret. Harbaugh has not delivered. He just hasn't delivered.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ex-players that, won his head on the stick. I have no idea what's going to happen this fall. I haven't seen enough of who the recruits are going to be. But, offense, which is supposed to be a specialty, it's just been lacking. That defense is pretty stout. They're pretty solid. Although, again, they gave up the ghost against Ohio State. But if this year isn't a lot better and different, I don't see Harbaugh being a long-timer at Michigan.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah. I don't. Mayor, we know your time is short, and we appreciate you taking some time out to join us. A couple more questions, if you can. You're a big White Sox fan. It's a town that's divided. You got the White Sox on the south side, you got the Cubs on the north side, but you proclaimed yourself as a South Side White Sox fan. How did that come to be?
So here's the honest truth. When I was working at the U.S. Attorney's Office, the White Sox used to have half-price Mondays. And you could go and buy a ticket at any price. And at that time, the crowds weren't particularly big, so you could sit anywhere. So, we'd go and buy a $15 ticket, $20 ticket, and we'd sit down in the lower bowl. And that's how I became a White Sox fan. The price was right.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun time. They were okay back in those days, but I just consistently liked the White Sox because you could get to see the games. And the in-stadium experience was really quite great.
Yeah, I
told Jerry Riles, Dor, bring back half-price Monday.
100%, Mayor. And going along with the sports theme, we are all missing sports and really, really waiting and hoping for things to go back to normal. But for me, it was really interesting and fun to see you guys start a campaign. And I don't know if everybody knows, but it's hang your favorite jersey or gear in your window from the pros to the youth leagues to show the city that we're all in this together. And you posted a lot of different pictures of people all across the state and above Chicago who put their favorite jerseys up. Talk to me about how you all are coming up with these unique campaigns that are really close to everyone and just a way to unite the city when we're going through these unprecedented times.
Well, I have to give all credit to our digital and creative team. Look, what we know is that this is a really, really tough time for everybody. It's frustrating to have to be at home for so much of the time. And I know we're all going stir crazy in my house, and I get to go out every day because, I got to run the city. But imagine the frustration of people who aren't essential workers or who can telecommute. It's a challenging experience, and particularly, this time of year when the days are longer, the weather's getting warmer. We want to be out. This is the time where we really embrace Chicago. So we wanted to give people something that they could do and claim and own on a citywide basis across the city. So this is one of many ideas that kind of percolated up through the creative team. We have you talk about sitcoms where they got a writer's table and they throw around ideas and they put something together. We have a similar thing with our creative and digital teams where we're coming up with a lot of different ideas that really help celebrate Chicago and Chicagoans and get people a distraction from what can seem like long, monotonous days of staying at home.
Hey, Mayor.
And, as you know, this is a great sports town. People love sports, so it's an easy thing for people to connect with.
Yeah, it is, and people are chomping at the bit. We're all eager to get back out there, regardless, whether if it's the White Sox over. I still like to call it Comiskey, but I know it's called, what is it? Guaranteed rate or whatever. I still call it Comiskey.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I still call it Comiskey.
Yeah, I mean, it's Comiskey. And Cub fans want to get out the Wrigley, and kudos to what you have been doing in collaboration with these teams and trying to help, flatten the curve, as they say. So we're all looking forward, hopefully, to get back. The NBA, I know they're talking about having players get to respected facilities to start working out. Do you see something like that happening as far as our Bulls are concerned?
I think there's a lot of conversation at the league level about what can be done. I know the NBA is thinking about it. I think the hockey's also thinking about it. It would be some truncated end of the season, probably without fans in the arenas. But I think at this point, people are so hungry for content and see their teams play. Now, I don't know what the ultimate rules will be, and as we know, our Bulls weren't headed towards the playoffs when the season ended. But I think people would be grateful to see some professional sports. We were very excited about the Fire opening up at Soldier Field and coming back to Chicago. So I think that there's ways, once we get to the point where the curve is actually not just flattening as we are right now, but we see the number of cases declining and all the other metrics that we talked about. I do see a world where with this summer we see some professional sports, but likely without fans, at least in the first instance.
Yeah. Hey, Mayor, Lauren Cox here, and our team at WCPT, the Rewind Sports 60, we were very proud of you and happy when you told people, hey, stay at home. Right? And they were on the lakefront.
That's not quite how he said it, Mayor.
That's not how I said it.
That's not how he said it.
And it was 70 degrees.
Else at home, but okay.
And you said, listen, let me tell you something, Mayor. With all due respect, this is what I envisioned you doing. I ain't envisioned it. You did it. This is what you did. Mayor, you took off your mayor hat. You put the mayor hat over here, and you put on your mama hat. You put on your mama hat, and you say, hey, y'all, with all due respect, Mayor, you said, hey, y'all get y'all asses in the house. I ain't going to tell you no more.
Hashtag we are not playing. Hashtag we are not playing. And that's a real hashtag that they have. We are not playing. I love it. So Chicago.
Man, that was classic. You shook some people up with that one.
I saw one tweet that I thought was very, very funny. I thought there's a lot of them are funny, but one in particular where they said, Mayor Lightfoot is that mom who turned the car around. And as my daughter would attest, I am that mom. I'm not playing.
Let me tell you something. I think, the black folks, we know that you got that in you. Black women, that's how, hey, Big Mama, the whole nine yards. My mother, let me tell you something. My mom, you got out of line, she'd beat you like a drum. And if you got out of line down the street, your friend's mama beat you like a drum and then send you home, and then your mama beat you like a drum. So we know it. But I think some of the other folks in Chicago is kind of like, hey, wait a minute. Hey, I've never seen this side of Lori before. Hey, whoa, take it easy now. Hey, Mayor, before we let you go, I got to ask you, one of the biggest stories in Chicago, the news of the day, and it's unfortunate, and it literally nearly brought tears to my eyes to see the video, and I'm sure you've seen it and heard about it, but the party on the west side, I watched it. Credit to WGN Channel 9. They have 20 minutes of footage of this video that was sent and is circulating. But it nearly brought me to tears to see these west side young people partying the way that they were partying after you've clearly stated, and the governor clearly stated, stay at home. And they were at somebody's home. But for them to be partying the way that they were partying, irresponsible, some of them had masks on, but the carousing and everything that was going on, it was just a big disappointment. What are your feelings?
Well, I'll keep it clean, but it's just stupid. They're putting their lives at risk for a momentary pleasure. And look, I get you're young, maybe don't have impulse control, but this is just stupid. And so we're actively investigating that. I've been in contact with the police department, also our business affairs department. We're going to find out, not just there were other parties over the course of the weekend. This is not going to be a thing that we're going to tolerate. I've been very, very clear about it. Unclear if this was a private home or an Airbnb. God help them if it was an Airbnb, because that's going to be the last of them. But we can't have this in our city. We have made substantial progress in flattening the curve of this virus, meaning really starting to see the number of cases doubling. We started out at 2 to 3 days. We're now at 16 days and climbing. That is great progress. But we've only been able to do that is because the vast majority of people in the city have paid attention, have been diligent, and have stayed at home. And we are not going to start the weekends of warm weather with people, as my mother would say, acting a fool out in somebody's house, out on the street. We're not going to have that. So there's going to be accountability. I can assure you of that.
Well, Mayor, I appreciate that, and thank you. And I hope that all of Chicago are listening to this, and it certainly will replay on our Facebook page, all our social media platforms. We really, really appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us on the program to talk sports. I love your sports knowledge, and, let's hope we can see some sports in this beautiful city of ours, and keep up the great work. And I'm sure Lauren echoes this.
Yes, you have to come back. When our beloved sports are back on, we have to have you back, Mayor Lightfoot. It's been wonderful to see how you move, and it's giving me personally a lot of comfort when I haven't always felt like that, being born and raised on the South Side from other administrations. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Stay safe. Continue to put your hammer down. Hashtag we are not playing. Hashtag stay at home. And thank you. I really appreciate what you're doing.
Hey, real quick, and I enjoy your insight regarding the Bears. We're going to have Cole Kmet. He is the new tight end of your Chicago Bears joining us. What would you like to say to him, welcoming him to the city and the Chicago Bears?
Well, I welcome and get ready. There's a lot of expectations on that young man. I hope he's able to break through and catch on with the team. But that tight end spot is a critical part of Nagy's offense. And what I've read about him, I don't remember seeing much of him because, I'm a Michigan fan, so Notre Dame's not my thing. But, I hope he embraces this opportunity with gusto and wish him much success.
Mayor, thank you so very much. We wish you continued success. I know you've got a battle on your hands, and you got some supporters here who are willing to help out any way we possibly can. And, hey, no one said it was an easy job, but I think you're handling it very, very well. And as they say, we'll all get through this together. So keep up the great work. We love what you're doing, and you represent the city by far.
You're shining.
Yeah, you're shining. There's no question about it.
In the midst of this, you are shining.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Hey, have fun and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mayor. Take care.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
That's your Mayor, Lori Lightfoot, of the greatest city in the world, that, of course, Chicago, Illinois, on the Rewind Sports 60. Lauren, that was pretty good.
Yeah, she's real. She's real. I mean, I was watching her the other day, and I don't even remember what she was saying, but I remember the energy and the sentiment behind it and how I felt. And I'm like, okay, we got this. She's got this. We're going to be okay. It's so important from leadership, for us to really feel like they know what they're doing. They're making good decisions. And it's not a circus, because it is a circus at the White House. And this is serious, and people are dying. And people in our community are dying. People we know have it and are dying, and unfortunately are passing away. So leadership, vital leadership, is it's critical. Yeah,
it just pains me. We have to be, as a people, not only, in the African-American, black and brown communities, but as an entire city and an entire nation, we got to be more responsible. Yes. We just have to be more responsible because, as you stated, I mean, this is real. Yeah. And people are dying. People we know. It's no joke. Yeah. This is not like the regular flu. right?
No.
And believe me, I had the flu. I thought I was going to die with just the regular flu.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But we have to be more responsible regarding this because it could take you out. And like you said, people that we know.
Yeah.
God forbid. And bless those who've experienced it. Ladies and gentlemen, keep it locked in. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation. This is the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, along with the sensational Lauren Cox, Comcast CN 100. And you know what? We're going to hold off on our TR60 scoreboard update with Gabe Salgado, who's remotely at home. Reason? We're going back out to our TR60 hotline and welcome your new Chicago Bears tight end. And I'm going to say Lauren Cox, he's going to be the Bears' #1 tight end in 2020 if we get this season underway.
Let's go.
He is a product of the Chicagoland area out of St. Viator High School in Arlington Heights. He's on our TR60 hotline, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome him out of Notre Dame. He is the one. He's the only. He's Cole Commit. Cole, how are you? Welcome to the Rewind Sports 60 WCPT, buddy. Cole, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Hey, buddy, how are you? Welcome to the Rewind Sports 60, man. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
No, we really, really appreciate it. And, do we say welcome home? Welcome back?
Absolutely.
I mean, I remember when you were at St. Viator. I think I covered a couple games back in the day, and I heard, all the, the projections that, Notre Dame was one of the schools that you were closely interested in and looking toward. And, of course, you made that decision. And now, man, over the past few months before this pandemic hit us, with speculation that you may be on the board as far as the Bears are concerned and could possibly get drafted to play tight end for the beloved. And lo and behold, the man upstairs has shined a light on you, blessed you, and you were drafted in the second rounds by the Chicago Bears. What was that feeling like? I saw the Instagram post. What was that feeling like for you and your family?
Yeah, it was just an unbelievable feeling. I mean, you're just waiting all day to kind of hear your name called, and you're just thankful to hear it from anybody. But when you get it from your hometown team, it's something really special.
Cole, this is Lauren Cox here, and oh my gosh, I cannot imagine when you got that life-changing call from Nagy saying that they were going to draft you, and you were going to be the first tight end drafted in the 2020 NFL draft. And Nagy said two things to you. First of all, he said, you're coming back home. And then he said it was meant to be. So now that you've had some time to reflect, what are your reflections on those two things? The fact that you're coming back home, which is an amazing story, and it had to be meant to be. These types of things, they just don't happen coincidental. We know that. What are your reflections?
It's really just amazing, like just the kind of the whole process and the draft, how it all laid out, where this is how it went down, where I was able to go at 43. It's just amazing, and I'm just really grateful to be in this situation, and I'm just really excited to get going, and excited to eventually get back on the field and start playing when the time's right.
Hey, man, do you think I do. I already said it. I think you can be the Bears' #1 tight end because let me tell you something. And nothing against Jimmy Graham. I love Jimmy Graham, but I mean, he appears to be on his last leg. And Adam Shaheen, listen.
What about the other 20 of them?
Yeah, what about the other 20? But listen, I think you can be the Bears' #1 starting tight end if we get this season underway in the fall. What do you bring to the table that will echo my sentiments regarding your chance, your ability to start for the Chicago Bears in 2020?
Yeah, well, I think I'm a pretty versatile guy in terms of what I'm able to do, and going in line and being able to split out wide and be a receiver. But there's a lot of things that go into it. I got a playbook I got to learn. I got to when I get to camp and stuff, there's a lot. I just got to put my head down, go to work, and do the things necessary to do those things so I can get some playing time in and all that. So I just think my versatility is something that's pretty unique, and I'm looking to show that once we get on the football field. You know what? As far as your intellect is concerned, I mean, come on, dude. You went to Notre Dame. I mean, come on now. It's not that's not a slouchy, education-wise. It's not a slouchy program. Football, it's kind of suspect. But I don't see you having a problem because you got incredible size, you got incredible hands, you have great field awareness, and what I love about you, Cole, is the fact that
you've kind of taken, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears as if you've watched a little film on Walter Payton and you've learned how to dish out some punishment instead of taking it once you're running a rock down the field. Is that accurate to say?
Oh, for sure. You always watch those Walter Payton highlights growing up, and as a little kid playing football, everyone wants to be the running back. So when you're playing running back and you get the ball in your hands, you gotta act like those guys. So yeah, totally, for sure.
Now, did he was probably gone by he was gone by the time you were playing. But Jared Payton, we talked about Walter Payton, his son Jared Payton, who's currently a sports anchor at WGN Channel 9 here in Chicago. Did you ever cross paths with Jared? Did he ever give you some pointers, some insiders, or anything of that nature while you were at St. Viator?
Yeah, he actually came by. So when I was on the baseball team at St. Viator, he came by prior to a playoff game before he went to the state championship that we ended up winning. So he came out and he talked to us for a little bit. I was actually on the phone with Jared today, just kind of catching back up, and he was congratulating me and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely have been in touch with Jared. He's a great guy.
Well, the one thing I do have to, I had a bone to pick with. We just had Mayor Lori Lightfoot on with us to talk shop, and I had a bone to pick with her because she went to the school up north, man, and I know the greatest school, in the country, the Ohio State University. I know that they were knocking on your door. Urban Meyer and those guys are trying to get you there. Why didn't you go with? Because you would have played in the national championship, you probably would have had a ring or two, man. Why did you push the Buckeyes to the side to take on the Fighting Irish?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was tough. I actually got down. It was between Notre Dame and Ohio State for me, and going back to when Coach Meyer was at Florida, was a guy that I just always loved watching his teams play, and when he reached out, that was it was really special to me. But at the end of the day, I went with the school that was. It really fit my personality and fit who I am, and I just thought it all translated well to Notre Dame, and I loved where I was at, and I wouldn't do it any differently.
Absolutely, Cole. And also, you played baseball, and it came a time when you were in college where you had to make a difficult, I assume, decision to just go with football. Talk to me about what was your thought process when you made that decision, and was it indeed a difficult decision to make? I mean, it panned out pretty well, but talk to me about that.
Going out of high school, not many kids get to play both sports at a Division I level, let alone at a school like Notre Dame. So I was really lucky in that sense, and I just want to continue playing two sports that I really loved, but at the end of the day, football was something that I've always wanted to do, and that I really wanted to pursue. My dad played and my uncle played professionally, so it's kind of in the bloodline in that sense. And at the end of the day, when this opportunity came up after the fall was over, and I really looked at everything, it was just too hard to pass up, and I'm in a great situation now, and I'm really, really excited to get going. Absolutely, and we're excited too, Cole. So I got to ask you, have you been in touch with Mitch or Nick? Yeah, they both reached out, actually. Who reached out first? No, I'm just playing. Who reached out first? Yeah, reached out. Geez, I don't even know. I got so many text messages that Good answer. Good answer. Yeah. Good answer. So yeah. But they both reached out. They were both great. No, they're good guys. I haven't met Nick Foles, but let me tell you something. I'm just telling you this, man. I love Mitch. I think he's a great kid. I think he is. But you talk about learning the playbook and everything. Learn. Well, either one worked, but stick with Nick a little bit. Give him a chance, because he can run Matt Nagy's offense efficiently when he's on. Now, when he's off, he's like Mitch Trubisky. But when he's on, he's on, man. But I think you're gonna do well. You know what? Chicago's had a list of fabulous tight end. Greg Olsen comes to mind. Yeah. We got rid of him because he partied too much with Jay Cutler. And I don't know if you heard about the news with Jay Cutler and Kristen Cavallari. Yeah. They're separated, divorcing. So sad to hear that. But Greg Olsen was a great tight end for our Chicago Bears. Martellus Bennett was a great tight end. Emery Moorhead, Keith Jennings, even Cat Boso out of Illinois was a pretty decent tight end. But I think you're going to be one of the greats. Dan Hampton, who played on the Super Bowl team, said
you by far will be probably one of the best, if not the best, tight ends outside of Mike Ditka to play for the Chicago Bears, man. When you hear those types of praises, do you like pinch yourself and say, "Man, is this real?"
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's pretty awesome to hear someone like his magnitude say that. But there's a lot of work that goes into it. I got to perform on the field and all that, so I'm really looking forward to doing that, getting to work, and really proving myself on the football field.
Hey, man, you talk about baseball real quick. Did the White Sox draft you too?
So they were actually looking. They offered me a signing bonus if I wanted to go and if I actually decided to go through with the draft and all that. I had to work out. I worked out with Jim Thome at the White Sox field and all that stuff. So that was pretty fun. But no, I ended up actually deciding to go to college and playing both. But definitely was in touch with them, and it was a lot of fun in high school.
And I've got to ask you, Cole, about this awesome parade. I don't know if our listeners saw it, but it was epic. You had not a 10-minute parade, not a 15, but a 45-minute parade of fans and loved ones who drove down your block, real Chicago style, and just serenaded you. But the funny thing about this parade, Cole, the fans looked like they were more excited and having more fun than you were. I'm like, these people just wanted to get out the house. What were your thoughts as you were sitting there just experiencing the love from your community and the fans? How cool.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, I was just laying on the couch the next morning, and my mom told me, "Hey, there's somebody at the door for you." So I came out, and it was my grandparents that I hadn't seen in a little while.
Aww.
And then I came outside, and the whole street was filled with cars and stuff, and I was seeing people that I hadn't seen since grade school. And,
oh my God!
When I was way younger, so everyone kind of came out, and that was obviously really cool. And as special as it was for me, it was just as special as it was for them. They were all really pumped up, and they're just really happy for me and my family.
Well, you know what? We're all ecstatic, and we're all happy here in Chicago. We'll be really, really happy if we can see some football this upcoming fall. You and your family staying safe with this pandemic and everything, man. Because Lauren and I, we got the mask on, we got our gloves and everything going.
Disinfectant spray, wipes.
How are you and the family doing?
We're doing good. Yeah, we're doing good. My parents are definitely very cautious with everything, so they're they're making sure that the masks are on if we have to go out and go grab stuff and whatnot. But we've been fine. We've been hunkering down at home and going a little stir crazy here the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But, it's been good. It's been good.
Hey, man, I got to say, my daughter's a junior at the University of Illinois down in Champaign, and one of her best friends is Jennifer Paul, and she is the president of the T-shirt club at Notre Dame, and they just designed the 2020 shirt for the football season coming up. Have you had a chance to see it at all or no?
I haven't seen it yet. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen it yet, though. No, I haven't seen the shirt yet.
Yeah, you know what was impressive, and of course it's Notre Dame. What was impressive to me is that JP, as she goes by, Jennifer Paul, they have a committee, Lauren, of like 20, 25 people designing this thing. I'm like, oh my God.
They're thorough. They're very thorough.
Yeah, they did the Zoom meeting and everything. I'm like, what the hell? But there you go.
Very thorough with it.
There you go. Well, hey, Cole, thank you so very much, and we hope that you bring that fighting Irish spirit
We're rooting for you,
to
buddy.
the Chicago Bears, and let's get back to the playoffs, and hopefully you can get yourself a Super Bowl ring.
We need stellar tight end production. We need stellar tight end production. Look at the Super Bowl. We need you, Cole. Let's get it.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for taking time. Enjoy yourself, and we'll be talking with you down the road, okay? Stay safe.
Sounds good, guys. Stay safe. Thank
you.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, Cole Kmet joining us on the Rewind Sports 60 out of Notre Dame. The Bears' first-round pick came in the second round, and he will be competing for the tight end position along with Niner.
With a couple other people.
That's what I don't understand. I don't understand that, Lauren, is the fact that why? I know that there is a problem with the Bears' offense, and tight end was one of the number one reasons.
They said it.
That they had a.
But they didn't address the offensive line till what round was it?
Right.
I mean,
but why do you have 10 tight ends on your football team?
They addressed the offensive line during the 7th round. That's all we got to say.
Well, I don't know about, you can find a diamond in the rough. The draft, it's tricky that way. So you can find a diamond in the rough. You want a first rounder.
If you can, the Bears won't find it, sweetie.
But I just don't understand why you have 10. Listen, I can see you might get it wrong once. You might get it wrong twice. But 10 freaking times before you can try to get it right? It's ridiculous.
I don't know.
It's ridiculous. Real quick before we say goodbye, folks, it's the fastest hour in sports conversation. Lauren, your thoughts on The Last Dance? We touched a little bit on it to start the show.
I can't wait.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Episode 3 and 4.
Get
the
your
real
popcorn.
Juice. We want to hear the real stories. Rodman and Phil, he was on some crazy psychedelic stuff. I'm ready.
Psychedelic?
He was.
I do know, believe it. But get your popcorn ready, get your lazy boy ready. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the fastest hour in sports conversation. If you miss any portion of this illustrious broadcast, this show, make sure to check us out on Facebook. Go to the RewindSports60.com. It'll be on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, the whole 9 yards. We want to say thank you once again to the mayor of Chicago, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, for joining us. Anel Ruiz, her press secretary, for setting everything up for us to join us on the Rewind Sports 60 here at WCPT. And, of course, the Bears organization, Megan Bauer and her crew up at Hallis Hall to help us get Cole Kmet on, the Bears tight end, the new Bears tight end. Mm-hmm. We love to see him, lining them up this fall. And, of course, all of you out there being a part. It is the fastest hour in sports conversation.
It is.
Lauren, thank you so very much.
Thank
you are
you,
fantastic.
Jerry.
It's great to see you. I want you to stay safe. And, of course,
too.
kudos to I was going to call him our tight end. He's just our producer, though. He is Devin Tingle. Man, great job.
To the ball game, Hall of Famer Andre Dawson.
All right. Let's hear it from the greatest fans ever. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Hey, let's get the run. Thank you.
The Rewind Sports 60.
The RewindSports60.com. reset, rejuvenate. Go to our link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60.